Today's podcast is supported by David Smith of Edward Jones. Are you happy with your financial strategy? Or maybe like to see what other opportunities are out there? Well, give David a call at 469-372-1587. That's 469-372-1587. David is only concerned about one person, that's you and your financial health. So check him out, David Smith, Edward Jones, 469-372-1587. Hey everybody, it's the Trout, and welcome to the Trout Show. Thanks for joining us today. Stop me if you've heard this one before. You want to play bass guitar in a band, a punk band, but there's only two things stopping you from doing it. Number one, you don't know how to play bass. Number two, you don't even have a bass guitar. Well, that didn't stop our guest today, Hanna, from Stockholm, Sweden, that said, I want to do both, let me try it. So what did she do? She answered a Facebook ad that said they needed a bass player in a punk band. And they asked her those two questions. Do you play bass? Do you even have a bass guitar? And she said no to both. But it didn't stop her from what she wanted to do. And now she plays in a successful punk rock band in Sweden. I think you'll love the story about the social media person's marketing expert becoming a punk rock bass guitar player. So up next, the gal that didn't know how to play guitar and now is playing bass guitar in a punk rock band in Stockholm. That's next on The Trout Show.
You know, I've always listened to punk rock. I've been touching heavy metal and metal, some of that. But for me, like, punk rock is the ultimate high. So I guess that's what I want to hear every day when I wake up, and that's what I put on. And it's the best antidepressant there is.
For you?
Rock.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Yeah. So tell me about it. No, go ahead. Keep going.
No, just like if I'm angry and I want to get angry, punk rock is there. If I'm happy or I want to be happy, punk rock is there. Like, it's always when I need it.
What were you doing were you playing an instrument before you started playing bass?
You know, I've had piano lessons when I was 10, but I hated it. So I just quit after a year or so. And I picked up the acoustic guitar in my teens, just mainly chords, basically because I was annoyed by the guy at the party, you know, always wanted to play the guitar, and he didn't know any songs and he couldn't do any requests. And he was like, let's play Wonderwall again. And I was like, I can do this better. I have to do this better. And I started playing. And but that was it. I mean, I knew all the chords, but I never never picked anything.
Right.
So what happened was I just saw an ad on Facebook. A band was looking for a bass player, and I just thought to myself, I want to be in a band. Maybe I could try out. And for me to have an idea and to go through with it is a very short span, okay? I don't have a lot of patience. So I just immediately replied and told them, I was completely honest. I was like, I don't know how to play. And they were like, do you even own a bass? And I was like, I don't own a bass. Okay, next step, find a bass. So I just wrote on Facebook, like, does anyone have a bass that I know?
That's hilarious.
And my neighbor actually said, I have a bass in my basement.
Yeah, I got it.
And I borrowed his bass, and I just sat down for a night or two and then went to tryouts, and I got the gig. And I didn't know anything. So I think that I got the gig because we really hit it off. And you've been in a band, so you know how important that is.
Yep.
If you don't hit it off, you can't sit in a car with someone for like 6 or 9 hours. You don't want to have a band where two people can't sit next to each other in a car.
Because you can't do it on stage. It's the same thing. Yeah.
And because I've had that happen, and it's like so I think that was why I got the gig, because bass I didn't know anything about. And I think 2 months after I started playing, we went into the studio, and I was so nervous. Oh man, because I'd never even heard myself, because I didn't own an amp. So basically, like I turned down the volume on the rehearsals, and I was like, how is this gonna sound? And then I heard myself play for the first time in that studio, and I was like, this was better than I thought it would be. It's really sucky, but it's better than I thought it would be. And then just after 3 months or 4 months, we went up on stage for the first time. So I just guess I'm kind of that type of person that throws myself into situations, and I was like to say yes before I immediately regret it and lose the confidence. Totally happens
So
all the
what were
time.
you doing with your life? I assume you were working or doing something, weren't you?
I've been working with marketing for 15 years,
Okay.
digital marketing. So maybe that's why I know how to tell a story, and I know how to like post on social media. So you found me through social media. I
Right.
think that's a little bit of you get a bit damaged when you've worked with something for that long. You can't just post anything. So I started this Instagram account about the same time I started this band, and it just immediately grew out of proportions. It's not huge for someone else, perhaps, but for me, it's like
I understand.
how how does it
Yeah.
happen?
Now that you've told me that, I think back about your Instagram posts. They're clever. They're
Mhm.
not just like, hey, I mean, when you got the new bass
Mm.
and you unpacked it. I
Yes.
mean, I'm sitting there going, I don't know why, but I just want to see what she's got. It's like I've seen other people, but I want to know what she's so excited about this. Let's see what she's getting. And it's
I'm
like,
always excited about the new bass. That's my problem.
so then I thought, well, um, okay, then I want to start watching you. It's kind of like, but then your posts are they're clever, which obviously that's why, because you have the experience in doing it. Well, and when you did your job, or if you're even still doing it, what kind of was it businesses you help market or just everybody that you help market on social media?
I've done everything, man. I mean, basically everything. When I started in digital marketing, I just put up Facebook pages for people because they didn't know how to do it.
Right.
And like put up Facebook profile images because they didn't know.
Yeah.
That was so early. That was when I started, and now like I can do basically anything when it comes to digital marketing. Um, and what I've been working with mostly recently is like the data analyst part of it. Like how do you analyze a campaign, and how do you how do you sell your business further? And I've been doing that for an agency. I've been working on several agencies, but yeah, I've been doing this in very many, I mean, many roles and many. I've been a social media manager, search engine expert. I've been web editor. I've been like a social media advertiser. I've done pretty much everything that you can do in
So you have your own kind of you have your own schedule. I mean, just
you could
right.
say that, but if I have
I mean,
customers that
you
have
have
their
projects you got to
schedule,
work on. You have time sensitive things, but you still,
yeah,
if you say, I want to go, hey, we're rehearsing today at 3. Okay, I'll work on that when I get home, or I'll do it in the
yeah,
morning. Yeah. So that
yeah.
makes so you have it's
It's
much
a hybrid kind of thing where some customers want me to go to their office, some
right.
customers fine with me staying at home because they don't even have room for me. Or so I mean, it depends on the customer, but that's what I've been doing for like the past 2 years.
Are they all in your country? Or are you doing something outside your country?
I've had like international companies that I've been doing work for. I think the hardest one was actually for a Finnish company, because Finland is Sweden's neighbor,
Hmm.
and so you would think that they are very similar, but that it's a
Well, they're
completely
not.
different language, and every post that you make has to be reduced in terms of letters because they put so much letters in saying one sentence.
Oh, it's like
Uh,
German. It's like German.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to. I mean,
Yeah.
the copy is not transferable at all. You have to redo everything for Finland, So that's yeah. I've been doing international marketing as well. Yeah.
Your English. Did you start learning that when you were young? Did they teach it at school?
Yes, they teach you at school in Sweden, and I've been to the States a couple of times.
Where did you go?
Los Angeles, New York. I've been to Texas, but I honestly missed out on Dallas. I saw Houston and I saw
Probably Austin. Were you in Austin?
Austin, yeah, and
Yeah.
I saw what was that? It was a third city. I can't recall, but it was like a Venice type of scenery, like with
San Antonio.
yeah,
San Antonio.
yeah,
Yeah.
San Antonio.
It's got the river walk
Yeah.
that you go through.
And Texas is huge. Oh my God. You don't get how huge it is before you go there. I mean, I was amazed about like when we were driving through Texas and you're like, this is the most vast country I've ever seen in my life. I thought, I'm thinking in retrospect, it doesn't look that big on the map, but it's huge.
Well, it takes, if you're down, if you want to drive from where I am to down as far south as it's a 10-hour drive.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's
and if
like
you're down there and want to drive all the way to other,
all
it's like a 12 hour.
Sweden
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
state.
Has the thought of playing South by Southwest entered your mind yet in Austin?
Um, we'd love to come, but it's expensive to get a new. We don't want to lose money to
No,
go
no, no,
play.
no, no. And
So I think that when because people have been writing to us a long time, like come to Peru, come to like come to Brazil, come
yeah,
to States.
sure.
Like, yeah,
Send me
sure.
money. Send me
Yeah.
money, and I'll be there to go again.
Wire us a transfer so we can get all of us on board a plane that costs like 10
Yeah,
grand. And
yeah.
then, yeah, it's a big machinery and you have to have like a booking company with you if you come from Europe over to the States. It's not, you don't want to go there and lose all your money. Well, you may want to do that, but
Well, it
for
depends
us,
on the situation. Yeah, I mean, South by Southwest, and I've had people come to me and go, "Can you get me in?" No. I mean,
yeah.
it's still, you apply, I think right now for next year. I think it's going on right
Mm.
now. I think you have to have it in by August. Everybody in Europe dreams about coming to America because that's where all the big bucks are. So that's part of it, but the other part of it is the exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, and I understand when people like your band, they just think, well, why don't you come to Rio de Janeiro? Or why don't you know? It's like, now if
Mm.
I want to come to Denmark, that's a little bit closer, for
Yes.
you, or Norway or something like
Or
that.
Germany or
Germany,
like
that's all, it's relatively
mm.
close. Okay. So we digressed a little bit. So you digital marketing, and then you go in and say, I'm going to play bass, and they put you in. And is this the same band from the beginning? You're in the same band you started with?
No.
Okay.
So what happened was we've been playing for a year when COVID hit. So it's basically same story like you.
Right.
So our band was immediately put on pause. And during the COVID, we decided we wouldn't continue with the band. And so me and the singer from that band, which is Jessie, is her name. And so Jessie and we talked about starting a new band, right? So at the same time, I was single, so I downloaded the Tinder app.
Yeah.
And I swiped right on a guy called Anders, and he's now our guitarist. So like on our first date, I was like, "Do you want to play guitar in my band?"
That's hilarious.
And then, so Tinder was a big part of forming our band called Wrong Band. And me and Anders are now engaged. So I guess that went well
Well,
as well.
I guess congratulations in order.
Thank you. So we started Wrong Band together, me, Anders, and Jesse. And then we had a drummer called John for a while. But
Are you a professional in the music industry and frustrated with all the legal issues that you must deal with all the time? Well, let us help you. At the Fine Law Firm, we've helped people just like you, entertainers, weave their way through the legal issues that you face. Eric Fine has over 10 years of experience working with entertainers just like you. From copyrights to royalty agreements, to venue agreements, anything that's involved with your business, Eric Fine can help you. You can easily reach Eric at 214-522-9596 or find us on the internet at ericfinelaw.net. That's fine, F-E-I-N law.net. Eric Fine, ready to help you with anything you may face. Get out there and do your music thing and leave the legal issues to us. Eric Fine Law, 214-522-9596. Call us today, Eric Fine Law.
Same story like with we talked about earlier, that band members different stuff happened, and he didn't want to continue playing with us because he wanted to like play other types of music like blues and more of like a journey type of rock.
Right.
And so we have been trying to find a drummer for Wrong Band for a long time, but John has always like been there for us with gigs, and he was recently on tour with us as well. But we still sing a drummer in Wrong Band, and it's been like 2 years, I think. Drummers are hard to find.
Drummers and keyboard players. Actually, bass players are hard to find. I always felt that keyboard players are hard to find. Oh, and lead guitar players like me, they're everywhere. It's like, I just had another email from somebody. Come join our band. Come and we need some. I go, I don't want to go through the hassle. I guess it's certain of it because I like what I'm doing. So all right. So now that you had the band, what's the name of the band?
Wrong Band.
It's
called Wrong Band.
Okay, but that's not what's on Instagram, is it? Is that?
I have two bands.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So that band is still called Wrong Band because it's still active. And then we decided we wanted to play punk rock in Swedish. So we recently formed a Swedish punk rock band called Krigsstigen, which just released our first EP, and it's sold out instantly. And we're still like in awe of, what? Did you guys want to buy this? But we're doing a third batch, which is going to be available from August of this EP that which it has 4 songs on it.
Okay. So who's your favorite? I mean, who do you listen to? Who would you like to? Who's your favorite bass player? I mean, you obviously have people you look up to. Who is it, or who are they?
Oh, that's so hard, but I'd go with either Matt Freeman from Rancid or Jay Bentley from Bad Religion. I wish I had more like female role models. There's a band from Sweden called The Baboon Show, which I want to give like some exposure. They're huge in Europe. I don't know if they've played in the States, but they have an amazing bass player called Frida. So shout out to Frida.
And that's one of the reasons I'm talking to you, because there's not that many women in it. I mean, it's not.
No, I guess not in punk rock. I mean, there probably are, but sorry if I haven't found you yet. You could just DM me and say, "Hey, I'm here. You should listen to my music," because the bands that I grew up with, I've always listened to bass, but even before I started playing bass. Like bass is so important to me in music. And so when I started playing, I didn't know what to do at first. I started watching other people, and I had like a few lessons from here, here and there. Just started, but not too much, not too much to interrupt my own style of playing. I don't want to do that. I want to still continue to be
sure
and not someone else. Like do things my way, but still, like lessons have done a great deal for me, even though there haven't been that many.
I think though that if as the longer you play, you pick up people's style. It's just the way it is.
Hmm.
Because if you listen to anybody in any band, you're going to start playing and going, "Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm going to
Hmm.
throw that into my own style." So it's a big collaboration of a whole bunch of people. What's funny to me is what you said earlier. Is when you
Mhm.
do hit some kind of success, it's kind of like, "What? How'd this happen?"
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
because people like you. They like your band. I mean, it is amazing to me, Hannah, how many famous people I've talked to that never talk about how good they are. And sometimes sit back and go, I just don't get it. And I go, because you don't suck. I mean, you're
Yeah.
really good. You're good at what you do. So obviously, you guys have found something over there that people want to hear, which
Yeah.
is, if you got that already, that's pretty freaking cool as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah.
now that you
Cool.
play, so do you guys still rehearse or you just play gigs? Or do you do, I mean,
With
obviously you go in the studio, but
Yeah, with Wrong Band we just play gigs because yeah, we've had a lack of a drummer situation for a long time. So basically, with it's come to the place when you don't have to prepare as much.
mhm,
When you're just so it just runs so smoothly, um, and you just know everything by in muscle memory, and
yeah,
then Krigsstigen is a brand new band, so we're rehearsing a lot and we're writing songs because we have a dream about like making a real record and not just an EP, like a real big vinyl, like old school
yeah.
love. And that's been a dream of mine for a long time, and the other guys I think as well. So we're just writing songs and we're rehearsing every week, every Thursday. So we're going to rehearse tomorrow.
Do you have a standard place? Obviously you do. Do you have a place you can just
Mhm.
leave your stuff and just go and just bring your
We don't
your
leave our
guitar, your
stuff, but
bass?
it's like it's fully equipped and it's via census. So it's like Sweden has this kind of thing where you can have a study circle. We call that a study circle.
Hmm.
I don't know if you have this a similar thing in the States, but it's actually government funded.
Hmm.
So if you are three or more people, you can basically start studying anything together. And we study music together, which is a common thing. So we get some contributions, and we have like a place to play. Our contributions basically go to like the place to play, like the place
Right.
of rehearsal.
Okay.
But after that, it's not that expensive. It would have been so much more expensive if we would have rented something
Oh
like
yeah.
instead
Studio
of
space is not cheap. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So we're doing that study circle thing via census, and it's been working really well for us. But we're gonna have like a little mini break during the summer just to, you
Hmm.
know, sit in the sun and swim in the ocean.
Yeah,
Eat
because
some.
you don't have a lot of sun for very long. You have a
We
short summer.
don't. I'm very pale, except for in the summer. Then I'm
Well, you're so far
darker.
north.
No,
It's
me neither.
funny though that you want to go to the vinyl side
Mm-hmm.
because I've always loved the digital side because I went through the vinyl stage. And
Mm.
people are buying more vinyl now, but it takes the last time I talked to somebody went with it was a musician that was going vinyl, the band. I think it said was 10 months or almost a
Yeah.
year to get a vinyl because there's so few people doing it that when you do it, it's like a year later before you actually get your copies, which is
Yes.
is strange. Uh, but the other thing too, and I don't know about Sweden, but I assume so. In Europe, they say they're still using CDs.
Yeah.
Not over here; it's all streaming.
We have actually our
I saw
first
that. So how do you pronounce that name?
Krigsstigen.
Oh wow.
It doesn't mean like it directly transfers to warpath, but it has a different meaning in Swedish, where it's more like we are on we are on a warpath and we're angry together more than like warpath. You know what I
So
mean?
you've got an alligator, a rabbit, and a bear. Oh, and a duck.
Yes.
I saw it on Instagram.
We all of the singles have like the same animals, so it's our singer Jessie who's been doing the cover art, and she's been doing that for Wrong Band as well. She's amazing at doing all of that drawing, and I can't draw at all. I can barely write my own name. People can't read what I write.
Have you been asked for an autograph yet?
We have actually, and I mean, we've been signing these records, and it's still weird that people want us to scribble onto something and then send it to them. But yeah,
you got to have kind of a cool autograph, it's kind of, or something that people go, what is that? Well, that was Hanna. It looks like I can't read it.
This is my autograph. It's not.
Well, see, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Now, hold it back up and let me see. Back it up a little bit. Let me see all the other names. Let me see the other names.
Okay. The other names. This is a dedication to our friend called Papa Prinsessan. He wanted it. So Jessie has a rabbit. She always does a rabbit. So Jessie is like your path.
Okay.
And this is
who's that with the thing? No, right where your right hand is. With
this is Adrian's, and this is Anders.
So he smiley face, and the other one puts kind of an accent mark over the name.
Yeah, this is a drummer, and this is the guitarist.
Okay.
And so our other guitarist Anton hasn't signed these, so I can't send them away yet. I'm gonna bring them to him tomorrow.
So what is your dream now? I mean, you have a lot of. Here's the thing I already know about you. First off, you're a business person.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if I went to musicians and said, "Tell me how to use an Excel spreadsheet," they would go, What's that? I won't even know what that is. They may have heard of it, they won't know what it is. You're smart. You're a business person because you've already been in business, which really helps in the music industry because you kind of can run the business side of it. And then the other part of it is you've already figured out kind of where you want to go in the short term. But what's your big dream? I mean, and I'm talking about Hannah's big dream, not necessarily the band, but maybe the band too. But what would be your big thing to do? Have you ever thought about it?
The weird thing is like I've had dreams, but they've already been fulfilled. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And that's a luxury problem, I know, but because I was like, I can't tell you right now, it's a secret, but like one of the things that I really wanted was like handed to me the week before this week. So like it was a big check in the box for me. But sure, like one of the things that I would love to do would be to go on a tour in Germany. That would be that's a dream of mine. Yeah. I know a few bands that have been doing that, and they say Germany is super nice, and they all love punk rock, and they also like really love Sweden, and that's where I would love to go there and just be on a tour, and not necessarily be doing that sleeping in the van kind of thing, because I feel like I'm past that. Yeah. So basically, like live in a, I don't know,
a B&B or something like that.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't have to be a hotel. I'm not fancy like that, but just have my own room, and I'll just be driving through Germany and like doing shows and meeting Germans. So I want to do music on my terms, and I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to be in a cover band. I don't want to be doing covers just to make a living. I don't want to be a product for someone else, like, because I've been asked to do that, like, can you join this group because of, I don't know, because I'm a girl and I play bass, and that would probably look cool.
They fit their marketing skills.
Yeah. And I don't want to do that. I want to make my own music. I want to be performing, and I don't have like huge dreams within music, but just it would be cool to do the Germany tour. So let's hope that happens someday.
Have a good evening. All right.
You too.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for this.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's it for this episode of The Trout Show. Thanks so much for listening. A special thanks to Hanna Plays Bass out of Stockholm, Sweden. We wish her all the success in the world. For more information about her, you can find her on Instagram at Hanna Plays Bass at Instagram. Special thanks to David Smith for his support and Eric Feinlaw for his support. And remember, you can always find more information about The Trout Show, whether you want to listen to it or on podcast or on YouTube, by visiting us at thetroutshow.com. So until next time, people, thanks again. And remember what I always say, it's only rock and roll, but I love it. See ya.